Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to yet another episode of the Geek podcast, the podcast that I run exclusively from my house, from the safety of my own apartment, with hopefully no interference this time, mostly because I'm doing this at about 11:20 p.m. and most of my half of the world is asleep right now, so I hope there won't be any inconvenient phone calls or knocks on the door, because, yeah, that's very annoying. So, like I said, this is a very late hour. I've got work in the morning. I'm super tired, but I decided to do this podcast anyway because I haven't done it at all during my off shift, and I really wanted to do this because I really just need to set a schedule for myself. I need to make sure that I do this thing at least once a week, mostly because you guys, if any of you at all are watching, but also for myself, because it's a thing that I decided to start on my own, and I'll really be doing myself a disservice if I won't live up to that promise that I've made. So we've got about an hour to go now, and we've got a ton of stuff to talk about. Hold on. So let's just try to run through it as quickly as possible, because, like I said, there's plenty of stuff to talk about. So, this whole podcast could just fly by us like last week's podcast, if any of you even watched it. But, yeah, we'll start off with something very interesting. Did you guys hear that? Hold on, and excuse me for not looking at the camera. I just, I want to set the mood a little bit. I decided to do this thing starting from this podcast moving forward, and I'm going to be using some music during the podcast to keep you guys a little bit more a little bit more connected to whatever it is I'm talking about. So, hold on. Really hope I picked the right song. I really picked the... Yeah. It's the Avengers thing. I hope it's not too loud, because, you know, some weird copyright laws, and also I hope you guys can hear me. But, yeah. So, did you guys hear that Avengers 4... At the moment, according to the Russo brothers, who are directing the movie, according to them, the movie is 3 hours long. Now, what does that mean exactly? Well, it doesn't mean that the movie that is going to come out on May 5th, I believe, whenever it comes out. That doesn't mean that that movie is going to be 3 hours long. It means that currently, right now, they have a 3-hour cut of the movie that they're working on. Now, this could mean a lot of different things. It would mean that right now they have a vision for the movie that's 3 hours long. It could mean that they've given themselves a maximum of 3 hours to tell their story. It could also mean that basically the movie is 3 hours now, and they're going to just cut from the movie and re-edit it to make it shorter, to make it a little bit closer to that 3.40 minute mark that the first one, the original one, was. The original Avengers was, I believe, 2.5 hours, and this most recent one, the Avengers Infinity War, was 2 hours and 47 minutes, I believe. Hold on, let me just... Yeah, I just paused it. Also because it's a lot easier for me to talk, but also because I don't want to be copyright... I don't want to get copyright infringement on this video. Because I'm really just innocently talking about the things I love. One of them being, obviously, the Avengers. And, yeah, the Avengers 4, which, by the way, still hasn't... It doesn't have a name yet. We don't know. A lot of people are still believing that it's going to be Avengers Infinity War Part 2. That is not the case. Currently, its official title is Avengers 4. As soon as Marvel and the Russo brothers will feel confident enough in themselves to reveal the title of the next Avengers movie, it's going to be retitled into Avengers something. Avengers Assemble, Avengers, I've seen a lot of people believing it's going to be called Avengers Annihilation, Avengers Endgame, Avengers Weird Sounds Outside My Window. Yeah, it could be a lot of different titles. I don't know, have all the answers right now. Avengers Secret Wars, for all I care. I mean, it could be Avengers We Don't Care, Come See This Movie. I mean, honestly, I don't care what the title of the movie is going to be. I'm going to be there opening day, opening night, opening whatever. I'm still going to see this movie regardless of what the title is going to be, regardless of how long it's going to be. The movie could be an hour and a half, even though I highly doubt it's going to close all these different storylines in just 90 minutes, but the movie could also be 4 hours long. It could be 5 hours long, and I'm going to watch it 2, 3, 5, 6, 10 times, as long as necessary, because if it's good, obviously. If it sucks, well, I'll just see it once and then just hopefully try to forget about it, but I believe in Marvel's track record right now. The movie could be, like I said, it could be 10 hours. I could be sitting in a theater for 10 hours just watching the Avengers eat shawarma with the Guardians of the Galaxy. And yeah, I'm still gonna go see that movie in the theater because that's how much I'm invested in this franchise. A lot of people are telling me that they've been invested in this thing for 10 years now, ever since the first Iron Man movie, ever since, I don't know, the first Captain America movie, ever since the first Avengers movie. They've been wanting to see where this goes. Yeah, I've been invested in this movie from pretty much the day I was born, ever since I saw my boy Spidey-Man in the animated series, teaming up with Captain America and Iron Man on several occasions, and the X-Men, and he's teaming up with a lot of different peoples, and Doctor Strange was a big part of that series as well. And yeah, ever since I first became aware of the Marvel Universe, the larger Marvel Universe, I've been a die-hard fan of everything Marvel, and I will go out to support this movie no matter what. I'm still gonna go and watch other movies, but those are the movies that are in my my highlight at the moment. So yeah, Avengers, whatever. Like I said, I have no idea what the title is going to be, and frankly, I don't care. Whatever the title is going to be, it's not going to change my thoughts on whether or not I'm going to see it. It'll probably give me a bit of direction as to what is probably going to be in the movie, but again, Marvel is, and a lot of people don't realize this, Marvel is notorious for going away from what was in the comics and sort of making their own thing, their own universe, where things happened a little bit similar to what happened in the comics, but also very drastically different. And yeah, that was my dinner dinging. but pay no attention to that. Marvel has been notorious for making their cinematic universe follow the model set by the comics from 20, 30, 50, 60 years ago, but also making it different and new and fresh and something that even comic book fans that have read these stories for basically their entire lives, they don't know what's coming. I don't know what's going to happen in the next Avengers movie. People, and it frustrates me, it drives me insane. People who never read a comic book in their entire life, they don't know what a comic book looks like, they come up to me and they ask me, hey, what do you think is going to happen in the next Avengers movie? Well, how do I know? Do I work at Marvel? Did I write the script? Am I a stunt double for one of the actors? How the hell do I know what happens in the next Avengers movie? But you read the comics. You know what happens in the comics. Well, genius. In the comics, Thanos lost. He snapped half of the universe away in, like, the first issue of the Infinity Gauntlet storyline. And then the rest of the storyline was about the Avengers trying to stop him. And, spoiler alert, they succeeded in the end. So I don't know what you want from me. Like, seriously, how can people just... I don't know. I guess people who don't read these comics will never understand how drastically different these comic book movies are. They probably think it's like adapting a book or a novel. It's like the Harry Potter stuff. People, well, I didn't experience it when I was when the Harry Potter movies came out. I did read all the books, most of them before the movie came out, but there wasn't this huge, massive fan base at the time. At least not in my circle. I mean, Harry Potter's always been big. It's been huge, but my friends in the circles that I was in, and remember, I was in high school back then, but so a lot of my friends, they had basically no interest in Harry Potter. The two friends I know were just as big of Potter fans as just as big Potterheads as I am. Have already read the books like twice, maybe 3 or 4 times before I even got to them. So it's just the thing. So I didn't have anyone coming up to me asking me what's going to happen in the next Harry Potter movie. Well, read the book. That's exactly mostly exactly what happens in the book is probably going to happen in the movie. That is not the case with Marvel. That is also not the case with DC. These comic book movies are radically, drastically different from anything that has been done in the comic books for the most part. And I do believe that Avengers 4 is going to be completely different from anything that even I can fathom at this point. A lot of people, comic book people, have been suggesting there's going to be a lot of time travel involved, that maybe, possibly, the character of Kang the Conqueror is going to show up, which is just, I mean, that'll be a dream come true for me because I'm a big fan of Kang, and I believe Kang has a lot to offer to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and to be honest, I think that it's a character that got a bit of a bad rap. As far as comic book villains go, as of late, he's always been seen kind of a little cheesy, but I truly believe that Kang, if he shows up and if he's going to be a villain, or the main villain, or a side villain, or whatever capacity he's going to be in that movie, I think he could do some real damage, and if you cast the right actor for it, and you write the good script, I do believe that Kang could be someone to look forward to in the next Avengers movie. And here's a little funny thing. By the way, I believe it's been announced by the Russo brothers that the first trailer for Avengers 4 could potentially happen before the end of the year. Now, just to let you guys know, we are getting into that zone of 6 months away from Avengers 4. So the movie comes out in about half a year. We're in November now, so it's November, December, January, February, March, April, May. I think I've lost count, but yeah, somewhere around that area. So either in the rest of November or during the month of December, possibly maybe closer to Christmas with the release of the next Disney movie, either Disney's Mary Poppins Returns or possibly Sony's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, even though I doubt that Sony would promote a Marvel Disney movie, but whatever. Somewhere around that time, they're going to drop a trailer online and they're going to attach it to the movie in the theater for the people who go out and watch these movies in the theaters, but don't necessarily live online, like someone like myself. So yeah, just try to keep your eyes peeled for a trailer around that time. I do believe that a trailer for Avengers 4 is going to happen somewhere around the end of December, and hopefully it will finally get rid of that whole stupid fake trailer that's been running around for a few weeks now, that a friend of mine from work just came up to me and showed me it on his phone. It's a very, very low quality, and it's, to be honest, not a very well put together trailer for Avengers 4. You see the Infinity Gauntlet lying on the ground, and it's clearly not in the same state that it was at the end of the Avengers Infinity War, by the way, which already that was my first clue that this was not the real trailer. And then basically you hear some voiceover from Josh Brolin. I don't even know which movie did he do that voiceover for, but you basically see this giant statue of Iron Man and Captain America fighting, and Spider-Man trying to break them apart. That's at least what it looked like to me from the very low quality of that trailer, and I instantly call it out as fake. I mean, not to shatter anyone's dreams or anything, but I've been following these trailers a long time. I've seen plenty of trailers by now, and I've seen plenty of fake trailers, so I know how to recognize these things when I see them. And first of all, the font for the title, Avengers Annihilation, that was the title for that trailer. I instantly recognized that the font was all wrong, and I literally had to show this guy that I work with. A really nice guy, by the way. He's a really good person, an intelligent guy. He was just a bit misled, as we all do sometimes. It happened to me multiple times. But I really had to show him 3, 4, 5 different types of Avengers fonts of the title, the logo of the Avengers, to show him that this was not legit. I showed him some of the titles from the movies, the comics, the animated series, and I also compared it with the one he showed me, and I showed him how certain versions have the arrow designed in a specific way, the arrow that's inside the A. Some versions have this sort of round thing in the A. It was shocking how deep I went into the exploration of that font, just to show him that the trailer he showed me was fake. But yeah, that's just how deeply I take this thing as a YouTuber and as a fan of these movies. And wow, we've been talking about this for 20 minutes almost. So yeah, Avengers 4. Also, by the way, a little bit of a side note. I highly doubt it's going to be Avengers Annihilation, for a very, very specific reason, is that Avengers Annihilation, just even putting the word annihilation in the title of an Avengers movie, is legally impossible at this point because, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. Oops, sorry. Annihilation, which specifically is a reference to the annihilation wave, which is inseparably which is, let's take an argument, let's say it's mainly connected to this character called Annihilus. If you don't know who Annihilus is, look him up. He's a great villain, by the way. He's a really diverse villain in the MCU, but yeah, he comes from this alternate universe of the Negative Zone, and he's the commander of this huge army of interdimensional insects called the Annihilation Wave. And basically, whenever there's the word annihilation in the title of an Avengers storyline or a Marvel storyline in general, it's a foregone conclusion that it's connected to Annihilus. Whenever it's like Annihilation Conquest, Annihilation Wave, Avengers Annihilation, whatever, it is connected to the character of Annihilus. And the main problem is Marvel legally can't use the character of Annihilus in their movies yet because he debuted in a Fantastic Four comic. So did Black Panther and the Inhumans, but that's just a side story because the Inhumans have been their own thing for a very long time, and Black Panther was an Avenger for a very long time. They weren't part of the deal where the X-Men and Fantastic Four were sold to Fox. Specifically, the movie rights to Fantastic Four were sold to Constantine Films, which were partners with Fox for a very long time. And, well, much in the same way that Marvel couldn't use the Fantastic Four in any of their movies, they couldn't use Fantastic Four characters, they couldn't use Doctor Doom or Galactus or anyone from the Fantastic Four universe. Even the fact that the Guardians of the Galaxy, the first movie, they were the main sort of cannon fodder minion army were the Sakaran from the planet Sakaar, which basically ties to which is basically the planet that Hulk was on during Thor Ragnarok. The main reason why the main minion army in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie was the Sakaran was because the main sort of minion army, and there's a lot of dogs right now. Sorry about that. I was not anticipating that, but well, it's a little war zone outside. Anyway, the main army of that fights against the Guardians of the Galaxy in the comics are the Badoon. The Badoon debuted in a Silver Surfer comic, which is directly connected to the Fantastic Four universe, which is why they couldn't use it in the Guardians of the Galaxy, the first movie, so they changed it to the Sakaran, which were, like I said, they were introduced in Planet Hulk, the Planet Hulk storyline, and, well, basically you probably already know the rest. We've already spent way too much time discussing the Avengers. I want to move on to other topics, starting with this. Hold on. If the internet would be so kind as to go along with me for just 1 minute. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. She was looking kind of dumb with her finger and her thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead. Well, that's about all I can legally show on my channel. Shrek! You guys all remember Shrek, right? That little, that big green guy from the fairy tale land with a talking donkey that sounds a lot like the dragon from Mulan. Yes, that Shrek. The lovable green guy with the Scottish accent. Why am I bringing Shrek up at this point? Surprise, surprise! There's a Shrek reboot coming up pretty soon. Isn't that exciting? Now, a little bit of background and context to the story. Shrek has always been a DreamWorks character, a character by the animation studio DreamWorks, or at least I think it's mainly an animation studio, because I saw the DreamWorks logo very recently at the beginning of First Men. I said to myself, wait a minute, hold on, I thought DreamWorks was an animation studio. Why are they doing this live-action film about Neil Armstrong? That was a bit of a shocker to me, but... So, let's go back to Shrek. Shrek is one of the first movies produced by DreamWorks, I believe. Hold on, let me just do a double check while I'm talking to you guys about this. I believe it was the second, if not the third, DreamWorks animation movie. Hold on, because I believe the first one was The Prince of Egypt. Yeah, 1999. Ants, also in 1999. And they also did Chicken Run in 2000. What else? They did the first Transformers? I did not know that. Gladiator? What the hell? By the way, Gladiator is also being getting a sequel. Just to let you guys know about the son of Commodus, not the son of Maximus for some reason. Saving Private Ryan. Color me shocked. Hold on. What else? Small Soldiers. Wow. Joseph, King of Dreams. I guess I should have seen that one coming. Deep Impact. Well, that's interesting. American Beauty? What the hell? The Peacemaker? Wow, they did a lot of movies. By the way, these are not in Galaxy Quest! Wow! House on Amistad. Wow. That was interesting. And Castaway. And those were every single movie I just listed are movies that have been made before Shrek. From this short list of movies. But regardless, here's a little bit of a background as to why Shrek is so significant to the story. Right, let's see. This is in chronological order. Yeah. Ants, The Prince of Egypt, The Road to El Dorado. Love that movie. Chicken Run, and then Shrek. Okay. So, I guess, yeah, this is a list of DreamWorks animation pictures. Sorry. Moving back up to the main point, DreamWorks animation, and I believe DreamWorks as a whole, the entire company, has recently been bought by. I think it's Universal Studios, who own their own animation studio, Illumination Studios, I believe. And for those of you who are not familiar with Illumination Studios, they're basically the evil masterminds behind the Despicable Me franchise. Get it? Evil mastermind? Because never mind. So they're the ones behind the Despicable Me films, as well as the spin-off Minions movie. They did Secret Life of Pets. I believe they also did The Boss Baby, though I'm not 100% sure about that, but basically they recently acquired DreamWorks, and they've announced that they're making another Shrek movie, and it's going to be a reboot, apparently. I guess I kind of understand why they're making it a reboot, because they bought the rights. They don't own Shrek directly. They bought it, and I guess similar to the Fox Disney situation, Disney is acquiring Fox in the next few months. So they're going to have to reboot the entire X-Men franchise, because while the X-Men characters are Marvel characters originally from the comics, the movie versions, those are movies that Marvel did not create. Marvel, the movie studio, at any rate. Those are movies that Kevin Feige did not approve. Even though he was an executive producer on some of the original X-Men, the first few X-Men movies, he did not approve. He did not cast those actors in those roles. He did not give his seal of approval in any of those movies. So they're going to have to reboot the entire X-Men franchise to put X-Men characters in the MCU with the Avengers and Spider-Man and what have you. So I'm assuming, I'm not 100% sure about this, but I'm assuming that the same situation is going to happen with the Shrek franchise. And I'm assuming also that's the reason why the next How to Train Your Dragon movie is going to be the final one, because, again, similar situation. If Universal is going to possibly do more How to Train Your Dragon movies, they can do it with the continuity of the first two, now soon to be three, but yeah. So I love the Shrek franchise. It's one of my favorite animated franchises of all time. I honestly believe that Shrek 2 is a perfect 100% proven factually, like, I don't even know how else to say it. It's proof why you should make sequels. Because Shrek 2 is undoubtedly one of the many, many situations why certain sequels can be much better, highly improvement on the original. Shrek, the first Shrek, is an amazing, incredible, fantastic movie. Shrek 2 is even better, by any stretch of the imagination. And I defy anyone to tell me otherwise. Of course, it's all subjective. I mean, if you disagree, if you think the first Shrek is better than Shrek 1, that's perfectly okay. I'm not going to fight you on that, but Shrek 2 is hardly a demotion. Wow, why can't I get any words out today? Shrek 2 has hardly done anything to harm the legacy of the first Shrek. The less said about Shrek the third, the better. As far as Shrek Forever After, I saw the movie from a particular point onwards. I didn't see the beginning, but from whatever I saw, it was really nice. It was definitely an improvement over over Shrek the Third, which was a complete just... Whoa, I almost spilled my drink. Shrek the Third was just awful, and I tried as hard as I can to erase that movie from my memory, but unfortunately, I might have to rewatch that movie again whenever I decide to do a full-on Shrek binge. Maybe even a commentary at one point. But yeah, Shrek the Third was just one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Shrek Forever After was a definite improvement, even though it wasn't, I mean, it wasn't that difficult to be an improvement over Shrek the Third. And Puss in Boots, the spin-off movie, it was actually a pretty nice, fun, charming little animated movie. It really was. It was really good, and I suppose it's really just it goes to show you why sometimes taking certain characters and giving them spin-off films could work. And yeah. So apparently they're going to reboot the entire continuity, and it's a really funny, odd thing that they want to reboot the entire story and they want to recreate that experience, that original Shrek experience that took everyone by surprise in the early 2000s, but they want to keep the original voice cast. That's kind of questionable to me, because when you do a reboot, it's a reboot. You do not, under any circumstance, I mean, there are exceptions to that rule, but when you're making a reboot, you're making a reboot. Don't do a rehash. Do a reboot with a brand new story, with maybe the same characters, maybe some new ones, but don't bring the same actors. I mean, it's a tried and true formula that reboots always bring new actors into the new movies. I mean, it's been done on Batman multiple times. It's been done with Superman multiple times to varying degrees of success. It's been done with Spider-Man with also varying degrees of success. Reboots can work when you change the act, but you gotta change the damn actors. Why would you want to do a reboot using the same voice cast? Then you might as well just do a remake if you're doing that. I don't understand that philosophy. And besides, I mean, Mike Myers hasn't really done anything lately. I mean, probably his biggest and highest profile gig was basically doing a parody version of himself from Wayne's World in the most recent Bohemian Rhapsody movie. He was basically just there for an in joke about the Bohemian Rhapsody stuff from Wayne's World, which I appreciated, I enjoyed. But yeah, the movie could have had a different actor instead of him, and a different character instead of him, and it would have been fine. Eddie Murphy hasn't really done much in a while. Cameron Diaz basically announced that she retires. Really, the only one I can see coming back is probably Antonio Banderas, who's probably already busy with other stuff right now to voice a little cat. So, yeah. I don't know what the idea is behind this new Shrek movie, but hey, I'm not the one making those decisions, and thank God I'm not, but because I would probably just ruin the legacy of the Shrek franchise forever, and no one, including myself, will ever be able to forgive me for ruining the good name of Shrek, the character that we all love. Remember, people, Shrek is love, Shrek is life. I never want to speak about this thing ever again. So, what else can we talk about? Let's get rid of this Shrek thing on my YouTube stuff. Oh, yeah. Hold on. Maybe I shouldn't use music for this, because I don't really know what to do. But okay. Hold on. Wow, this is a very interesting section of the episode. Let's talk about Fantastic Beasts The Crimes of Grindelwald. Hold on. Wow, that was... Whoa. That was a complete botch. Anyway, it's the music from the trailer, by the way, because I really don't want to use any music from the score of the movie. You know what? Let's just stop it right there. So yeah, Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald comes out in a few weeks. I want to say next week, but I'm not 100% sure. But that's not the reason why I'm talking about Fantastic Beasts right now. The reason why I'm talking about Fantastic Beasts is that we finally get the first critic reactions from the movie. The movie has been screened for critics recently. The first reactions to the movie are coming out, and they're not really that great. Hold on, let me just check. Wow. So currently, right now, the movie has got a 57% on Rotten Tomatoes, which, by the way, is the only, well, maybe not the only, but probably the best meter gauge for qualities in movies at this point in time. A lot of people scoff at the idea. A lot of people that I've spoken to hate Rotten Tomatoes. They think that IMDb is better. I can sit down and for a whole day and give you a list why Rotten Tomatoes is just infinitely better than the IMDb rating. Starting with the fact that Rotten Tomatoes the Rotten Tomatoes score is given by professional, honest movie critics that are doing this thing for a living. Alright? They're doing it for a living, and they've been doing it for years. They literally built their entire career on Rotten Tomatoes, on making reviews for movies, and most of the time, Rotten Tomatoes doesn't really ask anyone for their approval on these reviews. It's an aggregator. They take different reviews from different critics, and they put them all together into this big whole algorithm of things that gives you a more or less accurate picture of of what people are thinking about this movie in question. IMDb is basically just a popularity contest. I mean, it really is. It's just people going into a popularity contest site and clicking on whichever movie they like best, which is just, it's stupid. Let's just be real. I mean, IMDb doesn't check if people have ever actually seen the movie that they're voting on. Alright? So people can literally actually vote on movies that they haven't seen, movies that haven't come out yet. Okay? So there's no way in hell that anyone's seen that movie to even give it a review or a score, and they can vote as many times as they want anonymously. It's just stupid to me that people actually think IMDb is a trustworthy site. And when The Dark Knight came out, it's a very famous story that when The Dark Knight came out, people were just upset. Batman fans were upset that it wasn't as high as The Godfather, which, why would you even get upset about that? The movie's considered one of the best comic book movies of all time. The Godfather is considered one of the best movies of all time. So, I mean, why are you even and they're still so completely different movies. So why are you even getting upset about that? But basically, people just went online and downvoted The Godfather, like a lot of times, and upvoted The Dark Knight so that The Dark Knight could pass The Godfather. It's stupid, it's useless, and IMDb is not even worth the time of this video that I'm giving it. And just for a little bit of comparison, on the tomato meter, the critic tomato meter, not the fan meter on Rotten Tomatoes, there's a very important distinction there. On the Rotten Tomato meter is technically considered rotten, and it sits at a 57%. So a little more than half of every critic that watched the movie liked it, which is good. Okay, that's almost 60%. People think that 57%, excuse me, 57% is bad. 57% is okay. It's not bad. It's not 40%. It's not 20%. It's definitely not a 0%. It's a good thing. 57% is okay. Okay? So, hold on, let me just scroll down. So, out of 42 critics that have seen the movie, okay, 24 critics liked it. They said it was fresh. 18 didn't like it. They said it was rotten. And I can even read some of the reviews that people gave to the movie, but I'm afraid we don't really have that much time for this movie, and I really want to touch on another subject. But yeah, so a little bit more than half the people that watched it liked it. To me, that's okay. I'm still going to watch the movie anyway. But yeah, that doesn't bode well for this franchise, because I still remember back in the day, before the first one came out, they came out, I mean, David Yates, the director of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, as well as the director of the last 4 Harry Potter movies, he just came out and straight up said that they're hoping to make 5 movies out of this franchise. I mean, to talk about... Hold on. Give me a second. Talk about the literal definition of putting the cart before the thestral. See, it's a thestral. You can see it because you probably have witnessed someone dying, right? Because you can't see a thestral unless you've seen someone die. Okay, that conversation just got real creepy. So anyway, that's literally the definition of putting the cart before the horse, or in this case, the thestral. I mean, the movie hasn't come out yet, and you're already talking about 5 movies? 4 sequels? To a movie that hasn't come out yet, and you don't even know if it's going to be good or not? I mean, you're the director, so you probably think it's going to be perfect, but you don't even know if people are going to like it. You don't even know if people are going to go out in droves to see it, like you went out and saw the Harry Potter movies with such enthusiasm. I mean, that's just weird to me. And unfortunately, the same thing happened with the Power Rangers movie that Chaim Saban just came out and said, "Oh yeah, we're planning like 11 Power Rangers movies. We'll see where it goes." The first one didn't even make $200 million. The first one was good, by the way. I liked the first Power Rangers movie, the new one from 2017, with this sort of younger cast, with Naomi Scott, who played the Pink Ranger, who is currently playing is going to play Jasmine in the upcoming Aladdin movie. Yeah, I really like that movie, but unfortunately, not enough people went out and see it. Unfortunately, not enough people went out to see it. So yeah, you can kiss those dreams of sequels goodbye. And again, putting the cart before the Zords. Get it? The Zords, because Power Rangers. Anyway, so they came out and said, we're going to make 11 Power Rangers movies. And they barely got done with the first one. The first one was good. A little cheesy at times, but... And they also did this post-credit scene setting up the Green Ranger for the possible sequel. And yeah, that's the problem. The same thing has happened to DC. Multiple times they said, we're gonna do a Cyborg movie. We're gonna do a Flashpoint movie. They announced Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Black Adam, which is, by the way, the main villain of Shazam, 4 years ago. Before they even cast Shazam. I was still in the army when Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was announced as Black Adam. And so far, Dwayne Johnson went and did like 57 movies. I don't even know that guy's one of the busiest guys in Hollywood. But yeah, the same thing also happened with the Dark Universe. I mean, they had plans for this huge multi-movie shared universe with the Universal Monsters. They had plans for Johnny Depp to play the Invisible Man. They had plans for Javier Bardem as Frankenstein's monster and Angelina Jolie as the Bride of Frankenstein. I mean, they cast Russell Crowe as Dr. Jekyll, and basically everything hinged on the Mummy movie. And well, the Mummy movie happened, I guess. It wasn't good at all. I didn't absolutely hated it. I definitely thought it had some potential in it, especially with Prodigium. But yeah, it was another case of putting the cart before. I'm all out of puns about horses, but yeah, they were planning way too much ahead, and there was even that famous story where now they've got this huge office building complex with empty offices, and they bought all these figurines to put on display for the workers there, and they're still in their packaging, which is just sad. And unfortunately, I think the same thing might be happening with this Crimes of Grindelwald movie. And I don't think I've ever said this in any of my videos, but having read the Harry Potter books, as I previously mentioned, I have no idea why this specific story, and no spoilers, because I'm planning to make a whole video about this soon, hopefully. But I have honestly no idea why this story needs to be a Fantastic Beasts story. The story of Grindelwald and Dumbledore. What the hell does that have to do with Newt Scamander? Seriously, I mean, it's cool that if you're a Harry Potter fan, you get to see that storyline play out. But I mean, if you're a level-headed Harry Potter fan, if you're a level-headed Potterhead, which is probably the weirdest thing to say ever, but if you're a if you're really one of those Harry Potter fans that love the franchise, but you understand the business side of things and the logistics, really, what is the point of making Grindelwald the main villain in a movie starring Newt Scamander? Seriously, you kind of have to be a fan of the books to know what I'm talking about. And believe me, I have my plan for how this universe should play out. Clearly, I am not in any position to say anything because I'm just some loser on YouTube talking about this into a microphone. But yeah, I really have no idea why this movie needs to happen the way it is happening. I'm going to go out and support it. Hopefully, this movie can make enough money for another sequel, and maybe we could see kind of where the direction is going with this. But yeah, right now, it doesn't look good for Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. It's currently sitting at a 57% Rotten Tomato critic meter. As far as the fan meter on Rotten Tomatoes, which is basically the exact same thing as the IMDb thing, which is just people who haven't seen the movie coming out and voting up or voting down. Yeah, it's at 98%. So apparently there's an overabundance. And by the way, there's about 4,000 votes as of this moment. So apparently there's an overabundance of Harry Potter fans that just go on up on Rotten Tomatoes fan rating and upvote the movie, so people will be fooled into thinking that that's the actual score for the movie and go out and see it. And as for the useless IMDb stuff, yeah, pretty close. Almost 1,000 votes as of the recording of this video, and it's at 8.9 and 8.6 out of 10. So yeah, almost 1,000 idiots went online and upvoted on this useless, pathetic excuse for a movie rating site, hopefully, and hoping that people will be fooled into going to see this movie. So yeah, again, that's not a knock on the movie. I am going to support this movie. I'm going to see this movie as soon as I can, but unfortunately, yeah, things do not look good for this new Fantastic Beasts franchise. Now, finally, the final point I wanted to touch on. Hold on, how much time have we got left? We've got a few minutes left, so I'm going to be brief. Yeah, I've got a brand new sonic screwdriver, as you can see. By the way, I don't even know if I've mentioned this, but my mom told me that I should use this new one to fix this old one that got sort of broken during the war. Because yes, I took this with me when I was in the army, and yes, I did. It did somehow ended up during the war. How did it happen? Honestly, for the life of me, I have no idea. It just showed up one day, and it's a shocker. But yeah, I mean, it was a huge stroke of luck that I was able to rescue this thing from where it was, because it was literally just minute points of luck away from being taken away from me forever. So yeah, my mom suggested that I should use this new sonic screwdriver that actually works to fix this old one. Really, it all comes down to just batteries. For the voice box, at least, I mean, there's no fixing the light bulb, because that's gone. I lost it during the war somewhere. I have no idea where. But yeah, I either have to buy a completely new one, which there's really no point in doing, because this one still looks okay despite a few scrapes and bruises. I like to call them battle scars, but yeah, it still looks okay. It still performs its function as an actual screwdriver pretty well. I still use it on a lot of different things. So really, the only thing that needs to be done about this thing is just to put new batteries in this thing. Hopefully the voice box can work, and so it can make noises like this one again, but we'll see. And of course I am planning to buy more sonic screwdrivers. I really want to buy the 12th Doctor's screwdriver, because for those of you who don't know, the 12th Doctor used this screwdriver for his first 2 seasons. Obviously he also used the sonic sunglasses for whatever reason, but it was also awesome, so who am I to complain? But yeah, he used this screwdriver for the majority of his tenure, and then in his final season he got himself a brand new screwdriver. It's a lot bigger, and I honestly think it's one of the best designed screwdrivers ever. Not such a big fan of the design for this thing, even though I love the story behind it. And if you haven't seen The Woman Who Fell to Earth, then I'm not going to spoil it. But yeah, I really want to buy the 12th Doctor's screwdriver. I'm dying to buy the 10th Doctor's screwdriver, the 10th and the 9th Doctor's screwdriver. I want to buy River Song's screwdriver. I really want the classic screwdriver. I want every sonic screwdriver that is available for purchase. Even the Master's laser screwdriver. That one actually looks pretty cool. But so yeah, I've got a brand new sonic screwdriver, and surprise, surprise, I'm also going to make another a separate video on this screwdriver in particular, because there are a few things that I've discovered about this thing that excuse me, I've been talking for about an hour and my voice is going. But there are a few things about this screwdriver that I discovered only after recording the first video that I did about this thing, and yeah, I think it's a worthwhile endeavor to do a part 2 of that video to discuss the small details about this thing that I haven't really gotten a chance to talk about in that video. And also, I did that video in kind of a rush. I mean, my parents just showed up on my doorstep between my night shifts and dropped this off for me, so I had to very quickly open it and do an unboxing video, and then I had to quickly dress up and go to work. So yeah, I didn't really get a chance to talk in depth about this, but I will. So be sure to look out for that. If you're actually watching this podcast, which I really hope you guys do, because these podcasts take up a lot of my personal time, and I don't really get a lot of views on it, and I don't really get a lot of people that actually of the few views that the few people that actually watch these videos. Not a lot of people actually stay all the way to the end, but I'm hoping that's going to change soon. But keep your eyes out for another video about this. Also keep your eyes out for a video that I'm going to do about the future of the Wizarding world. Keep your eyes out for 2 separate videos I'm going to do about Doctor Who. I'm going to do a video where I'm going to rank every single Doctor that I can think of, at least. Every single Doctor from best to worst. I know most people would normally do it from worst to best. I prefer to do it from best to worst, and you'll know why when I'll actually get around to making that video. And well, I'm also going to do another Doctor Who video about explaining why I love Doctor Who so much, and why Doctor Who has such a huge influence on my life, and why I will always be a Doctor Who fan no matter what. Even with the really bad things that are happening with the show these days, where people are not, well, most people are, but not a lot of people are happy with Jodie Whittaker as the new Doctor. A lot of people are not warming up to the idea of a female Doctor. I love it, by the way. She's one of my favorite Doctors already, and with 5 episodes in one book that I've read. But yeah, I'll save it for the video. But yeah, I have always been a Doctor Who fan. Well, not always, but from a certain age, I've been an instant fan, and I will always continue to be, no matter what. I will stand by that show in dark times and in good times. I will never be afraid to call the show out on its bullshit, because the show does go into some weird places sometimes, and it does some weird shit sometimes that I'm not always happy with. But I'm not one of those people that just watch one episode and say, "That's it, I'm out of the show, because I didn't like that she's a woman." That's just stupid. So yeah, the Fantastic Beasts, the Wizarding World video, Sonic Screwdriver video part 2, my favorite Doctors, why I love Doctor Who, and finally, I'm going to finish my, speaking of top 10 lists, speaking of ranking lists, I'm going to finish my top 10 video about my top 10 series of my favorite Supermen, because my stepfather is really bugging me about it, because I kind of started it a while ago, and I completely forgot about it, by the way, because no one even watched it, but he's been bugging me about it for weeks now. He's telling me that I should finish it and that I should make Christopher Reeve the number 1. Spoiler alert, he's not. But yeah, I'm going to finish it. If for nothing else, it's because I didn't just sit down that night and recorded all those words for no reason. So yeah, those are the 5 main things that you can expect to see from me coming up soon. And that's about it, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. I really hope you guys watched it all the way to the end. I really hope you guys watch this podcast, period. And if you have been watching these podcasts, and if you've liked it, if you like them, then do me a favor and share these and tell other people about it, because that really helps a lot. I really want to make these videos a regular thing that people can just come up here and watch and enjoy and interact with me and tell me what their preferences as far as geek stuff are. And yeah, I really want to make this podcast work. So help me, help you, help me. No idea why I said that, but yeah. And I do say a lot of yeah. And my mom called me out on it. I say a lot of yeah and so. So yeah. Goodbye. Hello again, everybody. I hope you liked this video. And if you did, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel, where I do all kinds of weird stuff like showcase all these things, trailer reactions, movie reviews, all kinds of fun stuff. So, until next time, I'll see you guys next time.